Welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable. I'm Sarah Van Tyne here with Ted Ings. Today we are at the Niello Company in Sacramento, California. And Ted, today we're talking about the misconceptions in service vehicle acquisition.
With some big names in our industry. Brian Kramer from Cars.com is here. David Spisak is here.
Thank you.
And of course, our great host, Tully Williams. Tully, thank you for having us.
Absolutely. We're excited.
Beautiful location.
Thank you.
Tully, to set the stage, service acquisition typically has been framed in the conversation of a variable operations discussion. It's always talking about the used car department. Variable always gets the attention, and service sometimes is treated as an afterthought. So what are you seeing successfully implemented here at the Niello Company, and what should dealers be paying attention to?
Are your service directors excited about the sales department coming back there?
Let's just talk about that for a minute here. I'm glad you said that. I believe it's a myth. I believe when you look at it is that a good used car department is good for the store and good for use. And the answer is why. If we can service those cars in the service department, keep them happy. I don't want to buy cars. I want them to trade cars in. And if we have that process dialed in where it is non-pressure and it's non-to-on and the rider is involved and realizes that every car we trade in, he gets 2 customers and we'll let him close the recon ticket. There's no harm, no foul. That to me was the key issue of some success. Now, dialing those processes in with the sales department is a challenge, yes. But that's what we have Mr. Kramer here to talk about, is how do we do that right and make sure that we don't upset customers and we drive repeat referral business back to the store.
Well, I think one of those things is that it starts with the sales department and who they're talking to. And I think that you need to make sure that you don't make the mistake I made, where I take internet salespeople, and because they're really good at, working out of a BDC or in the e-com environment, 3 calls a day, 3 texts, 3 emails, hyper aggressive, you let them loose on the service department. The next thing you know, a customer goes, "Oh, it's fine. I'm not interested in repaying me, or my car's worth." Or they go back there and they say something along the lines of, "Hey, what if I could get you out of your car into another car? Keep your payments close to what you're paying now. No money down. Would you consider that, though?" And they're like, "Oh."
You're talking way too fast, bro.
And then they say, "I didn't think about it." Then they say, "You don't like saving money, Tully?" I mean, what? I'm just trying to think.
You sound like a high-pressured salesperson in my service drive that I need to throw your asses out.
So the answer to that is just mining for intent instead of mining for equivalent, and for trying to figure out who is even interested and not, as I call it, molesting the guests that don't want to be bought.
And I agree. And I think that what we have done, and it's been some success, is Cox had that study that about 35% of the people do want a price quote. So when our BDC calls to confirm those appointments, we're actually asking them, do you want a price on that car? So we have a nonchalant start sale on that, and we've seen some great success. With our Viper in our driveway is really doing that. And then how do we get that good lead into our CRM drive center? And that's some of the challenges that we're trying to deal with. And that's how we can break those myths and buy more cars and keep people at our dealership.
David, talk to us about the myths.
Here's a myth. It's easy. It's not easy. It's not easy. Here's a myth. Just send somebody back there to spend a few hours and you're going to pick up cars. That's not true. Here's a myth. Brian just said it, that you should spend time in the service drive. I'm not a big fan of the expression service to sales because I think that it sets a foundational flaw in the entire process. It has nothing to do with sales. Listen, sales are the byproduct when something goes right.
Right.
So the reality is that, everybody puts "we'll buy your car" on the side of their building. I have never seen anybody skid off the 3rd lane on the fly.
Look at that banner.
Somebody buy it.
The gorilla.
I've never seen that anywhere. People put the button on the website and they wonder why nobody clicks the button. Well, I did some research. I'm a geek, forgive me. Okay, but it turns out that if anybody's ever had a mouse trap, right, with the cheese, right, that you could get the first mouse and you could snap his neck. Okay, not the brightest guy in the world. But if you keep doing that over and over, they stop going for it. And if a mouse is smart enough to figure it out, that their friend Eddie got their neck snapped by going after an old piece of cheese, maybe we shouldn't do that. Okay, you got to give our customers credit. Okay, they're not going to click on your button that we're going to buy your car. You know why? The minute I click on that button, I have a burner phone for all the right reasons. I have a burner phone because I do that on dealerships. And 5 seconds later, I've got a salesperson calling me wanting to sell me a car.
Ask me, don't you want to save some money?
No. And you asked me if I wanted to sell you my car, bro. I don't want to buy your car. So in the service department, listen, nobody likes the word appraisal. Stop using the word appraisal.
How about a complimentary?
They bury you. But I better give you a complimentary valuation.
Yes.
There's a big difference. 2, stop talking about your used car manager. Nobody likes your used car manager.
Correct.
Nobody's ever liked a used car manager. They trigger PTSD and anxiety. Okay, they always tell you about your baby's ugly. So please stop saying that. You're a used car buyer. We do complimentary evaluations for every client. This is either the first or second largest asset in your family. And if this was a stock, you would follow it in the Wall Street Journal or online, right? We allow everybody to have a complimentary valuation as much as they want for whatever reason. We don't care when you're buying. We don't care if you buy at all. We just simply want you to have. We want you to have the information so you can make a smart decision. So this is about service to your customers.
Yes.
This is about doing something that is added value and not about trying to figure a new way to get a person to buy a car. That happens.
And you don't have to hit
organically.
selection on a car prior to getting a valuation for it. Because when you say you're going to give them a value for the vehicle, and then you say, okay, what are you going to replace it here? You immediately result credit.
Yeah, 100%. Listen, they're. Somebody told me yesterday, I can't remember, this guy does, Danny Chaves, he's phenomenal. Danny's detail service. He does 125,000 cars a day. Wow. Okay. And he says, David, my customers know I have to make a profit to pay people. I don't have to talk about that, right? Well, customers know inherently if they're going to sell their car at some point, they're either going to become an Uber driver, they're going to commit to public transportation, maybe start training for marathons, or more likely they're going to buy another car. So stop focusing on that. They get it.
Tully, it's all about the retention strategy. And really, this is a way to not only keep customers coming back to your dealership and having those repeat and referral visits in the service department, it's a way, again, to keep your customer consistently happy with their purchase experience.
It is, and if I look at is service advisors probably one of the most trusted resources for all those customers. And if we have the buy-in of our service advisors, where they understand that trading that car, not buying, trading that car in is a benefit to them, which they see, then we have the buy-in from the service advisor. When we have salespeople out there running around and harassing our employees, the service writers do us. Stop, go away. Yeah. That person's a thief. Don't ever come here again. And that is not good for the store and good for the dealership. And actually not good for fixed either. So the goal is going to be this is a really good opportunity to talk about. We're going to talk about it today. And how do we give evaluations? I love that word, to customers on a regular basis. We have thank you. We have the hand raisers, and then we have the people that just give it to us. And what parameters do we have in there? We have great partnerships with AECD with our Viper product that's going to help us for that. We're still trying to work those things out, right? How do we get those leads into our great partner, DryCentric, so we can follow up those? But the process that we're talking about is critical to drive retention and keep the business at the store.
I got a question for you. So you come in here, you've been coming in here, and you like your advisor. You come in here, and next thing you know, Ted comes up to you, jumps up from behind the wall, and he says, hey, I'm going to appraise your car for free. He does that little shtick that we all know. Thank you, Auto Alert, right, for planting that in our heads like 99 Luftballons or something. Can't get a freaking song out of my head every time it plays. So, but if that happens, wouldn't you agree that if that happened once or twice, you're going to think twice about ever coming back here?
Correct answer.
I don't want to come in and get jumped every time.
No.
Is that true?
No, it gives you, it's like a jump scare and watching a horror film. You know, you're just waiting for it to happen, and if you can make it through the gauntlet without that happening. But I see something else that, and tell me if you see this. When you get somebody that has maybe, let's say, 4 or 5 lines on an RO on a high mileage vehicle, I see service advisors, when they go, the RO is going to come back to them, knowing that they might actually get more than they would from the customer, because the customer is going to be at a second-hand diff from an independent service provider. That they say, hold on a second, then they proactively grab the salesperson. Because when it's working right.
100%. And I think customers want that. Even if, some people like to have their cars under warranty. They're the person that purchases a car every 4 years. God bless every one of those people, right? Now we're looking at 8 years old, and the writer's going to say, hey, you're getting into this repair is going to be like $6 or $8 grand. Would you be interested in an appraisal on that car today? Right? Our goal is going to be is that how do we transfer that and not leave the store? I also don't want them to go to an independent store and get an evaluation. Right? If we do a good job, we should never have to do that. The writer knows that customer is the best. If the writer knows it's good for him and his family and it's good for the store, we have buy-in, and that's the key. I believe.
Yeah, and it goes for maintenance and it goes for sales, because if you are giving them information on both, or giving solutions, they're going to find it somewhere else on their phone. They're going to get a trade value.
And you
somewhere
lose this,
else.
and you lose the customer for it. 100%.
Ted, this is such a critical conversation, and I know we're going to continue to unpack this more virtually and also here in person.
Physically. Me and
Sight
Tully
unseen.
over there back, and we're going to settle this physically.
Absolutely.
Great to hear from the best in the industry, Brian Kramer at Cars.com, David Spisak with Disruptive Growth Solutions, and Tully Williams. We're here today
Thank you, guys.
with Sarah Van Tine at the Niello Company, and we're going to be right back.